welcome to another episode of the Tip Balls Podcast. I am your host, Sam Randazzo, and I am joined today by my small-mouthed co-hosts. To my right, it is the one and only Uncle Sam.
Hello.
And behind the computer, crushing his own pecans, it is Bruce, the tugboat, Vendity.
What's up?
And we are back with another edition of Fantasy Frenzy. And it is really getting down to the nitty-gritty here. Trades happening all over the place. People getting ready for their playoff push. I myself was involved in 3 trades this morning, of which Uncle Sam just left him shaking his head because he thinks I screwed him.
Sent me an injured player.
Anyways,
That's what he always does.
yes, but I also sent you said injured player who is ranked 8th in
It doesn't
Gerald
matter.
Everett
Doesn't matter if you can't play.
for Kyle Pitts, for who you on this show said was quote-unquote absolute garbage.
He is garbage.
Anyways.
Oh, he's ranked 20th.
Well, I get to deal with that.
Mike.
I get to deal with that. He's,
Instead of combing
he's
your
busy
beard.
combing right now.
Back to the mid show.
I like your little hat, your little Detroit hat going on here. Also,
My gas station hat.
He's
what's the T-shirt today?
T-shirt.
What T-shirt is it?
What do you mean, what T-shirt?
The other day you had on. You're like, you don't know who.
Oh, because you don't know who Vlad the Impaler is?
I did not know who Vlad.
Yeah,
Who's this though? What is this one?
It's my Vlad the Impaler shirt.
This is Vlad the Impaler again.
Yes.
Oh, there we go.
You know, if Santa Claus were from Detroit, you would be the spitting image of him.
Hello. Anyways, let's start up.
Let's just look at
Fantasy Frenzy. So a little bit of news here. Hollywood Brown was activated to practice today. That is a pretty big development for the Arizona Cardinals. Also, Kyler Murray is practicing in a limited fashion, which means you might see a Cardinals offense back up to full strength this week. But they also lost Zach Ertz for an extended period of time, which could be an issue for them. But now we're talking about an offense where Rondale Moore is back. Marquise
They're finally
Brown
all
could be
clicking
back.
except for Ertz.
And DeAndre Hopkins. I mean, that's one hell of a receiving core there. If you are a Hopkins owner, I would expect to see a little bit less production from him than you have the last 4 weeks. Obviously, there's going to be other guys eating up a little bit of target share. But the interesting one to me here is Rondale Moore, because I think he could take up a bigger piece of that Ertz share than anyone else is really projecting. So that is something to keep an eye on there with the wide receiver situation in Arizona. Also, Cooper Kupp hit IR. He required ankle surgery for a high ankle sprain he sustained in last week's game. So what does that mean for the Rams offense? Well, now, I mean, we have to sit here and think Allen Robinson's a wide receiver 1. That was a joke.
God.
That was a joke.
Oh, my
Absolutely not. What I think this means for the Rams offense is that you can pretty much cash it in across the board, right?
Well, Van Jefferson is back, they said. So
Great.
that'll help. That'll help. At least they got a real number 3.
Ben Skronik, the big pickup of the week in most leagues.
There you go.
Everybody thinks he could be the next Cooper Kupp. So I guess, if you've got room on your bench and you want to take a flyer on some guy, I would say it's probably Ben Skronik. But as far as people are trading to get Allen Robinson now, and I just don't see that being
That's incredible.
beneficial. And yeah, Van Jefferson will probably see a little bit more action if he can stay on the field.
Allen Robinson will be MVP by the end of this year.
You think so, eh? Also, Matt Stafford still remains in the NFL concussion protocol as of today.
How many fucking days does this guy need in concussion protocol?
Well,
Give
he
me a
was
break, dude.
So he does indeed have a concussion. Sean McVay said today. So
Sean McVay has a concussion.
that
blowing the season, man.
that's pretty much it on the Rams offense, I think. I mean, I don't like either running back. I don't like any of their wide receivers, and Stafford is concussed. So that in a nutshell.
And I
Goose
took an
Stafford.
injured tight end.
What?
That's it.
What'd you say about tight ends?
I took an injured tight end from a shit team. Instead of taking who I wanted.
You want Greg Dulcich?
Anyway.
Anyways,
Moving on.
Moving
Give you
on.
Italian.
Oh, also, big piece of news I forgot about. Dallas Goedert and other tight end news. Dallas Goedert missed 4 to 6 weeks with an injury sustained against Washington. That could be a big blow to the Eagles offense. I mean, you want to talk about a guy, there's nobody more consistent week in and week out than Dallas Goedert. I think you're going to see Devontae Smith be the big beneficiary of him being out, I would say. Obviously, a lot of guys went out and picked up Jack Stoll, who has about 8 points on the year.
Okay.
The other tight end in Philly. But I really wouldn't rely on any of those other tight ends there. I mean, Dallas Goedert was such an integral part of the offense. None of the other guys have gotten a lot of playing time. So I would suggest, if you are a Devonta Smith owner, to hold that tight, because I think he'll be the biggest beneficiary of Dallas Goedert being out for an extended period of time. But let's talk about some quarterback matchups that we really, really like this week. First and foremost, it's very well documented that the Raiders are a complete shit show, okay? And I don't really see it with a big bounce back. So let's talk about Denver quarterback Russell Wilson. They do indeed play the Raiders this week. And we know Russell Wilson has had a below average year at the absolute best. But if you look, Russell Wilson has one 29-point game on his resume this year. And you might say, oh, wow, who could that have been against? It was against the Raiders the first time they played them in Las Vegas. So this week, he plays the Raiders in Denver. The Raiders seemingly in a tailspin spiral. And good old Russell Wilson, quarterback 21, averaging 16 points a week, is only owned in 53% of leagues. So let's say you are a Tua Tagovailoa owner and you have not owned your second quarterback. Guess what? Russell Wilson might be out there for the taking. And honest to God, this is one week where I'd actually feel good about playing Russell Wilson. The Raiders offense can't stop anybody. They are a 2-win football team. Their quarterback's crying at the podium. Their coach is incompetent. It's the perfect storm for Denver to have a really, really good week this week that they need to have. And I like Russell Wilson this week. Outside of that, P.J. Walker out an extended period of time in Carolina, which makes Baker Mayfield the starter.
Oh, Christ.
That would be a no from me. I'm not taking the risk on Baker Mayfield ever. I mean, in his appearances this year, he has averaged 13 points.
It is pretty sad when P.J. Walker is
like the prodigy.
Sam Darnold. Isn't Sam Darnold ready to play?
Sam
Why
Darnold
is he
is.
not fucking playing?
He's ready to play. He's the number 2 behind Baker.
That's ridiculous. Let him play. It's obviously Baker is not the guy. He started the fucking year and lost his job.
Correct.
It was shortcoming there.
Well, that must
The only reason why Sam Darnold wasn't still the quarterback was he was injured.
Yes, but how bad must Sam Darnold look then?
I don't know.
To be below P.J. Walker and Baker Mayfield?
I don't know.
But he ended up in Carolina really close to the season. In season.
What are you talking about?
Baker. He was traded right up into right before the season started. So why does everybody
That's
else?
because Sam Darnold was on IR.
Yeah. So why does everybody else get a pass and he played 3 games, 4 games?
I don't even see why he's still on the fucking team. To be honest with you. I would have let him go if I was them.
Nope.
Well, either way.
Gotta stop sleeping on.
I think my start of the week would indeed be Russell Wilson, shockingly enough. And I know that's going to be a hard pill for most people to swallow, but he's projected to put up 18 against Vegas. And I see this being at least a 20-point week for Russell Wilson. Now, again, we don't like anybody from Carolina. I don't like anybody. But another quarterback that I do think will have a very, very favorable week this week is Aaron Rodgers against the Tennessee Titans. All right. Let's be real. Last week against Dallas, Aaron Rodgers kind of looked like Aaron Rodgers. He put up 22.1 points. That was with Allen Lazard banged up, without Randall Cobb,
The ghost of Randall Cobb.
without the ghost of Randall Cobb, excuse me, with Aaron Jones coming off of an injury.
Fucking injury. Give me a break. Hey, you understand what I'm talking about injury reports now? There's no way that guy had a fucking ankle injury and sat that Lions game out. He sat that game out. He sat down. There's no way that guy, that ankle was that bad to take him out of a fucking game and then him show up the next week and absolutely mash fuck a top
Mash fuck.
5 defense.
Mash fuck.
Mash fuck
Mash.
a top 5 defense.
What
You tell me.
What's the
You tell
definition
me.
of a mash fuck?
Well, we're talking about Aaron Jones right now. Did I tell you about Aaron Jones? Did I
Yes.
tell you what was going to happen? You know what? Guess what? Wait till the end of the year when Detroit goes there to Lambeau Field. Watch the goddamn cluster motherfucker.
The mash fuck.
The goddamn power fuck that's going to happen. Watch.
Either way, Tennessee's defense.
Oh, by the way, I like Jimmy Garoppolo this week against the Arizona Cardinals. Love it. Jimmy G.
Yeah, I love it too.
Okay, well, either way, Tennessee allows the 28th most points to quarterbacks. Rodgers projected for a 17 with an average of 16. So he hasn't been all that reliable this year, but he threw 3 touchdown passes last week. That was the most of the year. He also had a fumble in that game. Otherwise, it would have been a 25-point performance. And he only threw for 224 yards. So I think against Tennessee this week, the Packers kind of have their mojo back. They're getting more healthy. I like them against Tennessee this week. Even though I think Tennessee's defense is on the come up, I think the Packers' offense.
I don't think Tennessee's defense is ready for a running game that the fucking
I don't think so either.
Packers have, to be honest.
I don't think so either. And I'm going to surprise everybody here, but there's one quarterback that I really don't care for all that much this week, and that is quarterback Daniel Jones.
Tom Brady.
Daniel Jones
Oh.
of the New York Giants.
Okay.
Wow, that's a shocker.
They
Really?
are playing the Detroit Lions.
You don't like him
Wow.
against the Lions?
Wow.
I don't like him against
Really?
the Lions. I don't.
Interesting.
What
All I
I've
can say is wow.
well, I know.
Wow.
This is what I've seen out of the Lions as of the last couple of weeks.
Oh, drink the Kool-Aid. Go ahead.
I've seen a team that I don't know how I'm drinking the Kool-Aid because I've sat here and absolutely fucking derailed
2 days
the Lions defense for the last
Right.
2 months. But this is why I don't like Daniel Jones this week, because there is absolutely no way in hell they should even throw the ball once. Because there's not one person on the Detroit Lions defense that is going to have an answer for Saquon Barkley. I expect Saquon Barkley to get 30 to 35 carries. I expect for him to run for 200 yards and 3 touchdowns and absolutely dismantle the Lions defense. What that means is you're going to have Daniel Jones, who has to throw the ball 15 times.
I don't believe that whatsoever.
Why?
Why? Because Saquon Barkley hasn't gone up against high school Anzalone yet.
I expect Daniel Jones, to throw for maybe about 110 yards, and maybe he gets an
Well, guess
accidental
what? 97
touchdown.
of it be on one play
Yeah.
to the fucking
Darius Slayton, yeah.
Darius Slayton for a 91-yard touchdown
So even though
for the win.
the Detroit defense allows the most points to quarterbacks, I don't see it happening this week for the Giants, just because I think they'll be in control of that game for most of it, and they're just going to run the ball straight down the Lions.
So you don't like
the entire day. I
So
don't
he's your
like Daniel
sit.
Jones.
What about Jared Goff against the Giants team?
Don't like that
with
either.
Chark and
Okay, so you want to sit both of their quarterbacks.
I'm staying as far away from that actual impotence of a game as I possibly can.
Okay.
That and we'll talk about that Friday, but that Lions Giants game just has like gonorrhea written all over it. Like, you just stay away from that. But one other quarterback I want to talk about before we move on is Justin Fields against Atlanta this week. Okay. Justin Fields has been absolutely fucking red hot. He has 85 points in the last 2 weeks. Yes, I said that right. 85 points in the last 2 weeks. If we go the last 4, he has 140 points. So,
At what point does Justin Fields come down to earth?
I don't think it's going to be this week against Atlanta.
Because he was horrible the first 5 weeks of the season.
Correct. And it's been nothing but up from there.
Not terrible all 5 weeks.
Do I think
First 3 weeks he
Because
was
he's been
god
putting
awful.
the team on his back and running.
Do I think he is going to have another 40-point week? No. Do I think we could see him have a nice 30-point week against Atlanta? Yes. I did not like what I saw from Atlanta's defense last week against Carolina, let alone the way
Well,
that...
here's the difference, I think, on that deal. Carolina ran the fucking football down their throat.
Absolutely.
I don't think Chicago will be able to do that. I'm going to be honest with you, because I'm not sold on Montgomery.
Well, this is what I'm going to say, because there's a part of me that agrees with you,
Okay.
a part of me that disagrees with you. Khalil Herbert went on IR today, so it's the David Montgomery show. Now,
We know that's a shit show.
that is a shit show.
He's not
but-
reliable.
But you have to think of this as still a two-back system because Justin
Yeah.
Fields has so many designed runs now that I think he's going to have a great game. I think
He'll
they're
be
going
the
to
leading rusher.
he'll be the leading rusher, but they will give David Montgomery 20 carries. So I don't see where David Montgomery doesn't hit 100 yards on the ground in this game, and I don't see how Justin Fields doesn't hit 100 yards on the ground in this game. I think that
Montgomery's not Deontay Foreman.
I get it,
Yeah.
but I don't.
The worry of Fields running might
Correct.
open up
It's
some
going to
lanes
open
for
up
him.
some
Yeah,
lanes for him.
maybe.
And I think they have I think Chicago has a huge week on the ground, but I think Justin Fields continues his hot streak. I don't think it's going to start with a 4, but I wouldn't be shocked to see it start with a 3. And if you're getting 30 points out of a quarterback, you're playing him. I think Justin Fields is a start and forget about until something changes, until he has that one awful fucking week. And one more thing I wanted to add in. If you're a Justin Herbert owner, you might not be too high on him right now. He's 14. He's only averaging 18 points. He's getting Keenan Allen back off of injury. He's getting Mike Williams back off of injury, hopefully.
That's huge for
And
them.
they are
That is
playing Kansas City, which means there's going to
they
be
need it.
175 points scored in this game.
They need to win this game to stay in contention.
To stay relevant, they
the
must win.
playoffs.
But either way, it is going to be one of those fucking 49 to 45 games. I feel that. I think it's going to be a ton of points. If you got Justin Herbert, I know it's been a rough go of it because you drafted him in the 3rd or 4th round, but this is the week where he comes out, and I think he has a huge week for you on Sunday Night Football. Moving on to running backs. All right, there's a few buys this week to discuss. Leonard Fournette on a buy, Travis Etienne on a buy, Raheem Mostert, Jeff Wilson, Kenneth Walker. That is a lot of top 20 guys. Also, if you picked up Rachaad White last week, which 12% of all fantasy leagues did, he is also on a buy. So if you own a Tampa running back or you own Etienne or Kenneth Walker, what do you say you do? There are a couple guys who I am indeed pretty high on this week. I loved what I saw from Washington's run game last week. And yes, it was a pretty even split between Antonio Gibson and Brian Robinson. I think as long as Heineke stays the starting quarterback, which we don't have 100% clarity on that yet, I, in my heart, don't think there's any way Ron Rivera takes Heineke and puts him on the bench in favor of Carson Wentz.
Well, see, this is what happened at other places, and it totally backfired on them. The Colts. You can go down the fucking list. Leave it alone.
Leave
If
it
it's not
alone.
broken, don't fix it.
Agree wholeheartedly.
Heineke, the team has been playing at a different level with him in there.
Agree 1,000%. So I am a huge fan of this Washington backfield at the current moment. What I saw against Philly was Brian Robinson took most of the first and second down carries. He was essentially your bell cow. And then near the goal line, it was Antonio Gibson, and on 3rd downs. Passing situations also went to Gibson. If you're in a PPR league, I favor Gibson a little bit more than Brian Robinson. But I think with the amount that they are running the ball, they ran the ball over 40 times last week. It was 45, 46 runs?
Yeah, their time of possession was
It was
a fucking rough.
40 minutes to 19. And I think they're going to continue to play that kind of football. If you could do it against Philly, you can do it against anybody.
Should.
And that
Should be able to.
That makes Taylor Heineke look great.
And they're
because-
playing the Texans.
and they're playing Houston. That makes Taylor Heineke look great. They are playing Houston. I am all in on both Washington running backs this week. If you have either of them, give them the start. because I think they could both easily put up 15 points a week consistently just based off of volume. They don't have to rush for 5.5 yards per carry. They don't need 2 or 3 touchdowns. They are both going to get so much volume that they're both plays every week. As a running back 2, I would play both of them this week. But there's also a guy that I'm really, really not all that high on this week. And this one might shock you a little bit, but that's Alvin Kamara. Last week, he only got 8 rushing attempts for 26 yards against Pittsburgh and only got 3 receptions for 19 and no touchdowns. He put up 6 points in week 10 and 7 points against Baltimore in week 9 after a 38.5 touchdown performance against the Raiders. I just don't know what's going on with this New Orleans offense right now. It's not consistent. I mean, if you look at Kamara's games, 6-6, 20, 15, 14, 38, 7-6. That we're getting towards the playoffs here.
Yeah.
I am on the team now of, if you are a Alvin Kamara owner and you can take him and trade for a little bit more consistency, now would be the time to start shopping him. We don't know if Andy Dalton's going to be the guy, right? You could have a completely different offense next week with Jameis Winston. They're not running the ball consistently. I mean, again, if they give Kamara 23 or 19 or 18 runs, he's going to give you at least 15 points. But then they have weeks where they're like, oh yeah, give him the ball 8 times. Right. And he doesn't have enough to get that going. I would be actively shopping Alvin Kamara for something else in return. The problem is, what are you going to get right now? Everybody who's really, really high up in the rankings, nobody wants to touch with the 10-foot pole. But I'll tell you, guys that I would like in return for Kamara right now would be Aaron Jones, who still has a questionable tag. And I think the Packers offense is going in the opposite direction of the Saints. I think it's going up. And I think Aaron Jones will continue to get carries. And you might sit here and think, oh my God, that makes me want to throw up trading Alvin Kamara for Aaron Jones. But I think down the stretch, you will be so much more consistent and happy. I also like Ramondre Stevenson. Damian Harris is nowhere to be found. Can I
ask you a question? We're talking about running backs right now, correct?
Yes, absolutely.
I got one for you here.
Okay.
I know a guy who had Nick Chubb and traded him away.
I did.
Okay. Buffalo this week. They play Buffalo.
Mm-hmm.
There's an estimated 3 to 6 feet of snow.
Yep.
In Buffalo this week.
Indeed there is.
You know what that says to me? Nick Chubb, baby. Nick Chubb all day long.
I'm going to be honest with you. So I owned both Austin
3
Eckler.
to 6 feet of snow.
I owned both Austin Eckler and Nick Chubb, as well as Antonio Gibson and Najee Harris. I have since traded Nick Chubb and Najee Harris, and I am rolling the dice with Austin Eckler and Antonio Gibson. Now,
not a bad deal.
Not a bad deal. Obviously not as pretty as Eckler and Chubb.
No,
but
especially this week, because I think Chubb could absolutely fucking tear it up this week and hand the Buffalo Bills another loss.
Do you want to know?
Another loss.
Do you want to know
the
why?
third in a row.
Would you like to hear my reasoning behind trading Nick Chubb?
Yeah.
Who started practicing this week?
Oh.
Deshaun Watson. And he will play this year.
So?
I have a feeling in my gut, and this doesn't make Nick Chubb not a top 5 running back. But I
have to go out and draft Donovan Peoples-Jones.
I have a feeling that he's already picked up, by the way.
Anyway.
I have a feeling that going forward, you're going to see the Browns change their offense up a little bit, and I think that they are going to want to put Deshaun Watson out there and let him launch the fucking ball 40 to 45. It's the most Browns thing to do.
And they will absolutely not win another game.
I'm aware.
For the fucking year.
I'm aware, but is that not the most Browns thing in the world to do?
I don't know.
You have the best running back in football right now, and you only gave him 11 carries last week against Miami.
If they're smart, the first 3 plays, the offensive line doesn't block.
Well, last week against Miami,
Let
they
him
got
get
down early.
fucking
I will say
wriggled.
this. They got down early to an explosive offensive team. And they got away from what got them there.
Wow, what does that
and
sound
that
like?
fucked them up.
What does that sound like? They're playing Buffalo this week. I don't like them against Buff. I don't like Nick Chubb against Buffalo. I don't like Nick Chubb.
I love Nick Chubb against Buffalo this week.
I don't like him next week against Tampa either.
Can
That's
I,
why
can I
traded
be
him.
honest?
Yeah.
And I just found this out that I just put fantasy ESPN in my thing, and your life is in my hands because I have your fantasy team.
Oh, great. Signed in on that computer.
So-
But
Send you a trade, Bruce.
I don't love Nick Chubb this week. I get it. He's the second-ranked guy. But
Yeah.
this is the problem with your expectations when you own Nick Chubb. You're expecting 20 points a week. You
Yeah.
expect Nick Chubb to go out and put 20 points a week up. And like last week, he did 13. And you're sitting there and you're like, oh, God, that's it? That's it? You're poking him. Give me something else.
They
Went up against New
fucked
England.
up.
And granted, the team as a whole got popped against New England, but it only put up a 7. I'm sitting here thinking, every time Nick Chubb goes up against a nice front 7,
He has 25 to 28 carries a game, and forget about it.
Yes.
It's over.
but if against an offense, if Cleveland gets down early, Nick Chubb doesn't get production.
Because he's not getting the ball.
Correct.
Yeah.
And I see that happening against Buffalo. I see it happening against Tampa. I could see it happening against
I think
Cincinnati,
with the conditions
Baltimore.
in Buffalo being 3 to 6 feet of fucking snow, I think you're going to see a lot of Nick Chubb.
No, I think you're.
I don't believe that.
I think you're going to
don't-
see split time between him and Kareem Hunt.
I don't believe that. I don't believe that. I think Nick Chubb's absolutely going to go off this week. And by the way, where is he as far as rushing goes? Is he still in first?
No, he's second.
To who? Barkley?
Austin Eckler. Oh, as far as rushing yards
no,
go,
no. As far
rushing
as
yards,
rushing yards.
it's Saquon Barkley, yes. But Chubb had his bye last week, so that's
That's why.
Hey, you want to talk about the shellacking the Lions are going to get from Green Bay with Aaron Jones? This week, they're going to get a shellac.
I can almost guarantee you that one.
This is going to be worse. This week's going to be
I'm-
worse than Green Bay.
I'm a little optimistic about this week with them.
One other thing I want to talk about.
Yeah.
So Arizona cut Eno Benjamin.
Okay.
Houston picked him up.
Yeah.
I wouldn't keep an eye on it, but I would just look at it out of the corner of your eye. That's all I'm gonna
Here's
say.
the reason for that, and I'm going to tell you something. I actually think fucking Houston's offensive line is better than Arizona's.
I agree.
I
That's
really
why
do.
I'm saying what
They got
I'm
a
saying.
lot of young guys on that line, and I don't hate that at all.
Also, Jonathan Taylor is back and healthy 100% this week, so because he was questionable.
He
again
was
after
100%
Sunday.
last week. He was a fucking
You can
monster
drop
last-
every other Indianapolis running back. And as far as Kansas City running backs go, I don't like any of them. And I get it, they're playing the Chargers.
I like Pacheco.
Chargers allow a shitload of yards to running backs.
Yeah.
And as we saw last week, their D-line is decimated. For some reason, I just have an odd feeling that Edwards-Helaire is not going to get 0 carries again this week. I think he's going to be somewhat utilized.
I personally think the Eagles might be in a little disarray right now.
Well, this just came out of left field.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Well, because they just signed Linville Joseph.
Well, yeah,
That's
but we know that.
not why.
Jordan Davis went on IR.
That was last week.
Yeah, so they had a little bit of a hole. The Washington running backs ate them
Yeah.
up, so they filled the hole.
Yeah.
I don't think that's disarray. I think that's just a good team needs to acclimate,
Yeah, that's true.
you know?
That's true.
Look at you against the Eagles and me defending
I'm
them.
not against the Eagles. I said they were in a little bit of disarray. They got the ball pounded right up their hole.
I'm against the Eagles because I want to punch Jalen Hurts in the face. But other than that,
Anyway.
give the ball to A.J. Brown one
ass.
fucking time.
All right, let's talk about receivers. You got somebody you love and hate?
Receiver wise this week, I love the guy in Los Angeles.
He always
Ben
does this.
Skowronek?
The guy.
Sorry?
Ben
The guy.
No, not Ben Skowronek. The
got a
guy
Allen?
in
You got a
Los
name?
Angeles.
Keenan Allen?
The other guy
You
in
got a
Los
name?
Angeles.
You got a name.
Opposite Ben Skowronek.
Allen Robinson?
I think Allen Robinson will be the man this week.
Dude, don't spread bullshit on him.
I'm just kidding.
Okay.
I you know who I really like, to be honest with you? And I think with Juju Smith-Schuster on death protocol right now.
Death
Kadarius-
protocol.
Death protocol because he got his fucking ass handed to him last week. Kadarius Toney showed me something last week. He looked pretty fucking
Code
good.
red.
He's cute, just like Pat Mahomes.
I know.
Keep an eye on it. I know they get Hardman back this week.
Yes, they
That's
do.
going to help them immensely. But I like Kadarius Toney this week.
Honest to God, I can't disagree with that. I think Kadarius Toney could go off for another big week. I think he is the perfect cute guy in that offense.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes, he is.
He's so
and
cute.
that's the thing. You got to be cute to play in Kansas City.
You got to be cute.
If you're not cute, you can't play in
Yep.
Kansas City.
I agree. And with Schuster out, he could eat up a big.
Right.
If Schuster's out, if.
What do you mean if? They're
He's
still trying to-
questionable.
he's trying to still look for himself. He was playing on the field. He was done. Done.
Another guy I hate this week. I'm going to throw in one I hate. Oh, you got somebody you hate?
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
I hate A.J. Brown this week. I don't like A.J. Brown against the Indianapolis defense.
I like A.J. Brown against everybody.
Well, A.J. Brown.
I don't know what happened
A.J.
fucking
Brown
the
against
other night.
Washington.
You
last
could have
week
told
put up
me
2
that
points.
against the
Here's
Commanders.
Here's the thing about. Let me tell you something about Philadelphia right
I did.
now.
I did tell you
let
that
me
against the
let me
Commanders.
explain
Yeah.
something to you real quick. They're playing Indy. They're not playing a division game. Division games are going to be tough in that division, and it's a toss.
Indy's got a good
Any
D. one
one of those teams could win any one of those games on any given.
Yes, but I think Indianapolis is a team of destiny right now.
Indy's got a good D.
That
my
team
opinion.
scares the shit out of me.
Indy?
Yes.
Yes, I'm aware.
Matt
That's why I'm
Ryan-
saying
Matt
this.
Ryan, the ghost of Joe Montana,
The
stepped
Eagles.
into Matt Ryan
Let's
last
let's
week.
get this out of the way. The Eagles could go out and lose again this week.
I believe that.
So do I.
I truly.
And I think
here's
A.J.
the thing,
Brown-
though.
We're only
This-
on running backs.
is
And
what will happen.
guess who
The
just
Eagles will come out this
We will
week.
talk about all of this on Friday.
and A.J. Brown just picked up an injury designation with a sprained ankle. So
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway,
that
All
is
right.
something
That's-
to
which
a
monitor.
guy I
bullshit,
do
which is
like this
bullshit.
week, if he can fucking catch the ball, if he can catch the goddamn ball, because he didn't do it for 7 weeks, Christian Watson.
Yeah.
Okay, against the Tennessee Titans.
Here's the thing. And I firmly believe this about Christian Watson. He's either
it's a
going to
mental
have
thing with him.
well, he's either going to have an absolutely fabulous
A monster day.
monster game or a fucking zero.
Or a dud.
And there's no in between.
Yes.
There is no in between there. And that worries the shit out of me. One guy I love this week, Jerry Jeudy out. Cortland Sutton
Cortland Sutton. yes.
against the Vegas defense. I think he will absolutely eat. One guy I'm really not high on this week, and I know you'll probably disagree with me. That's Amari Cooper. I don't like Amari Cooper against Buffalo's defense, especially if there's going to be 6 feet of snow.
I love it when that.
I agree with you.
Oh, there we go.
I love Amari Cooper, but for this week, unless they're just going to hand him the ball as a running back, I wouldn't play him.
But again, I think another guy to really keep an eye on is Rondale Moore.
Adam Thielen, hate him this week against the Cowboys.
Agree.
Something tells me stay the fuck away from him
I agree
against the
with that.
Cowboys.
He's stuck on my team. So,
Well, just because I know that the Cowboys are in bounce back mode because they were fucking embarrassed. So we'll see. I still think Minnesota will win this game, but I just don't like Adam Thielen.
Real quick, 2 receivers that I love this week. I really like T. Higgins and I really like Tyler Boyd, both against Pittsburgh. I think they could both go off for big days. This might be the last week we're without Jamar Chase. I think they both go off and have absolutely
What about Amon-Ra St. Brown
Yeah, what-
against that
we have a
Giants defense?
we have a healthy offense on the Lions.
Okay.
You
What does that mean?
You got Chark back. You got
When this week?
yeah.
Well, no, you don't. You don't have a healthy roster for the Lions yet.
Because you don't have Jamison Williams.
Right.
Does he
You're still
get-
missing their a first round pick that has not fucking played yet. The 12th overall pick. That should have been Jordan Davis.
Hold on.
But you have the
Hold on.
offense that was out there at the beginning of the year.
Hold on.
Is what I'm saying.
okay.
He is being activated off of IR to return to practice. That doesn't mean DJ Chark is a guaranteed play this week.
Okay.
That's number one. They're expecting both him and Jamison Williams to be integrated into the offense after Thanksgiving. At that point, it won't fucking matter, so I don't know why they do it.
What do you mean it don't matter?
Yeah, wait.
I think it
why-
does matter.
I think
it does matter.
Why,
I think you
bring
want to
him
give this
back
guy as many
before
game reps as
Thanksgiving.
possible.
Bring him back
Ooh.
this week. Fuck it.
Jamison
Will-
Williams?
Both of them.
Do not.
Shark too.
Chark, I don't give a fuck about. He won't be here next year anyways. Do not
Yeah, because we have James.
play Jamison Williams this year. For what?
He'll be back. He'll be ready to go.
But it doesn't matter.
I mean, you could throw him out there for.
I
Yeah,
would
have him
put
come
him out
back
there.
week 13.
I would put him out there and let him play. I just want to see him take the top off of defense a couple of times, and then they can send him for the rest of the year. I just want to see if he is
get your
what we
button
think
tickled
he
a
is.
little bit?
Is he Deshaun Jackson in his prime?
You asked about Amon-Ra St. Brown. Let's talk about the one that's actually playing. Do I love him against Chicago?
Who?
I don't love him.
Are you
I
talking
like
about
him.
Equinicius?
No, Amon-Ra.
You said against Chicago. They're playing the Giants.
Oh, excuse me. My bad. I had a moment. Against the Giants, I don't love Amon-Ra
The
St.
way
Brown,
they
but I don't
used
hate
him, the way they used him last week against the Bears, how many fucking points did he put up on fantasy? Because he was running the ball, those cute Pat Mahomes little
cute.
shut offs.
But the
He
thing
put
is
up
here,
17 last week.
all right. Well,
not bad.
this week he's going up
Pretty
against
good,
a
actually.
really stout defense. They're good. They're stout.
agree.
They're stout.
I don't think he's going to
I don't
have
think they're elite,
17
but they're stout because this is the same team that basically got pummeled by the Seattle scumbags, Seahawks.
True.
Yeah.
I'm not.
I actually think that the Lions match up with them pretty damn good.
The Giants.
Yes, I do. I do.
Their offense,
Can I ask you one question, though?
offense, and
Giants
defense.
offense is a shit show.
Well, I'm saying
Other than
you like the
Saquon Barkley.
matchup
How-
of the Lions'
how-
offense and the Giants' defense.
If let's say Malcolm Rodriguez doesn't play again, who out there is going to tackle Saquon Barkley? Don't say Aiden Hutchinson, dude.
Alex Anzalone,
Don't say it.
Goldilocks.
Saquon Barkley will embarrass Aiden Hutchinson. Please.
Oh, absolutely.
You know what? I believe in Jeff Okuda.
Oh, God.
Aquara's back as well.
Huh?
Aquara,
Romeo or Julian?
Romeo.
Romeo Aquara's back this week?
Romeo Aquara's back.
We'll see.
Fabulous.
We'll see.
Uh,
they need him.
Anything else on receivers from either of you?
For this week, and this week only, take the ghost of Allen Robinson.
Oh,
He's for sure going to put up at least 5 points for you. At least 5 points.
hey, and this is no
And that's only if Matt Stafford plays.
no bullshit.
Yeah.
Let's talk Green Bay's receiving core real quick. Obviously, we like Watson.
Yeah.
To either have 30 or 0. Lazard, if he plays, he's a must play.
Yeah. Lazard is the guy who's going to get the hammer of the target.
Correct. If
'Cause he's the
Lazard
only
plays,
guy
he's a
that-
must play.
That fucking Aaron Rodgers can really trust.
Do you like Randall Cobb if he plays?
Yes, I do, actually. You want to know why? Randall Cobb will be out there. He'll run 6 routes, and he'll have 5 catches for 40 yards.
So you think?
And maybe get a tug in there. Just maybe get a touchdown.
I honestly, I
Maybe.
know I talked a lot of shit,
Maybe.
but I really like where Green Bay is right now.
Oh, but
I like where they're at, too.
you know
and
what?
I
I'll
think
bring it up.
Minnesota better
bring
not
it
fall
up.
asleep.
Go ahead, bring it up.
Well, it doesn't have to do with fantasy,
What does that have to do with?
but it has to do with the fact that we have a clip of you last week.
Wait a minute. Let's finish.
You want me to
show
finish?
before we do
Okay,
that.
okay.
Okay.
He knows.
Okay.
He
Let's
knows.
go on. Moving on to tight end.
Moving on to tight ends. Couple of guys that I really, really love this week. I love George Kittle against Arizona. Arizona allows the second most points to tight ends. Kittle, even though he was hurt for a decent, he missed 3 games this year, and he had a very slow start with only getting 4, 2, and 5 receptions in his first 3 games, respectively. Last week against the Chargers, he was pretty much non-existent. Only 1 reception for 21 yards.
I do not like the fact that they're not using him.
I think they're
don't like
going
it.
to use him more this week against
I don't
Arizona.
like it. He's a weapon that they should be using every week.
I think this
And
week,
I seen the same thing happen in Detroit with Hawkinson.
yeah.
The guy will put up a monster game and then he won't fucking do anything for 4 or 5 weeks.
You led me right into the next guy I love this week. I love TJ Hawkinson this week. I think he is.
Kirk Cousins knows how to use a tight end.
Kirk Cousins knows how to use a tight end, and I think he'll have a good week against Dallas because I don't think Justin Jefferson will be open as much as he has been.
That guy can get open any time of the week.
Way down here on the towards the bottom, I love Greg Dulcich this week. I absolutely love
Say
that
because you got
kid.
him in
I
the
love that
trade.
kid.
And
Love
Russell
Greg
Wilson.
Dulcich.
Russell Wilson has to keep throwing the ball to him
Mm-hmm.
and not stop.
I agree.
And you see, all the. I'm gonna tell you something. I know this is gonna sound stupid. Russell Wilson is still an elite quarterback in this fucking league. He's having some growing pains, and I still think great quarterbacks use their tight end.
Another one I'm in love with is Juwan Johnson this week against the Rams. I just think
We
that
just don't know who's going to be there. Is it going to be Jameis
either way,
Winston? Is it
I
gonna
think
be-
either way, regardless of who plays quarterback, Johnson had 7 targets last week, 5 receptions, only 2 the week before, 4, 5, 6, 4, 7. He's getting targeted, and he's starting to pull in those targets, especially in the red zone. He has 4 touchdowns in the last 4 games. That's pretty nice.
You don't have the big red zone receiver. because-
Correct. Mike Thomas is
out.
gone. So I
Because of a toe. He's on IR because of the bad toe.
I
Put me in, coach.
I am all in this week on Juwan Johnson. One guy who I think is going to be a little disappointing this week is Kyle Pitts against Chicago.
You know what? I don't even want to fucking hear that. You want to know why? Because you're saying that right now, and this asshole will put up 25 points, and I fucking traded him away this week, and this will be the week he puts up
Well,
25.
I will say the last time we talked about Kyle Pitts on this show, somebody said that he was going their quote unquote lock
Yeah.
of the week, and he was
My
going to
lock
put
of the
up
week,
20.
and he put up 3 points.
Somebody said that, and I don't want to say that I'm not liking him this week on the prowess of reverse psychology, but I don't like Kyle Pitts this week.
Okay.
I also don't like Dawson Knox against Cleveland.
Okay. I don't like Dawson Knox at all anymore.
You
want to know
what
why?
happened?
You want to know why?
Too many other
What-
options.
There's too many options. That needs to fucking stop. He needs to be smarter and play the game more simple and use your fucking tight end across the middle. Don't just try to chuck the ball up to a fucking receiver. That's the reason why you're getting picked in the end zone. He sucks.
Team defense
You
here.
know what I'm talking about? The quarterback in Buffalo.
Yeah, I know.
You know why? Because he's shit in the bed. Oh, Bills Mafia. Yeah, right. They're garbage. They're garbage. As of right now, they're in second place.
They're still
Hello?
favorites to win the Super Bowl.
Anyway, second place.
Anyways, I like the Jets defense against New England this week. They're projected to put up 8. Currently, the Jets defense is ranked 4th. If you have them, you're playing them. Honest to God, I'm not even going to lie to you. I kind of, if the 3 feet of snow thing is actually factual, I like the Browns defense, who is currently rated 29th in a 1-game play against Buffalo. If there is 3 feet of snow, if not, never, ever, ever do that. You know what? I also think that the Bengals D against Pittsburgh could have a really nice week. Bengals D is currently 17th, but I think they have a really nice week against Pittsburgh. I don't think we're going to see Pittsburgh do what they did last week again to another team. Eagles defense against Indianapolis, automatic. Commanders defense against Houston, after what I saw last week, I think that's automatic. One that I would sit, I wouldn't play the Broncos defense against the Raiders, and I wouldn't play the Raiders defense against the Broncos.
Okay.
I don't like either of those. I wouldn't play the Giants defense against Detroit, and I'm never, ever playing the Lions defense, so I don't like that game.
You don't like the Giants defense against Detroit?
No,
Really?
I don't.
Okay.
I don't. I think that is
What about the Jets? You like the Jets defense against New England?
Well, obviously you don't listen to me very much because I opened this segment with
I'm
talking
sorry,
about
I'm
how
sorry,
much
not
I
the
like the
Jets.
Jets against New
You
England.
like the Eagles defense this week against Indy?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Even though Matt Ryan has been resurrected,
Yes. I still.
he's like Michael Myers.
Listen,
Fucking
you
guy was
gotta-
left for dead, and he just sat up, and he's got the mask on.
Listen to me.
and he's petrifying.
Last week against Washington, they had their worst week of the year, and they still put up 8 points. Actually, no, they did worse against the Lions week 1 and put up a 5.
Yeah, they give up a lot of points that first week.
Yeah.
but they left a lot of points on the field too.
I also like the 49ers D against Arizona. I think right now in my heart, the 49ers are my favorite team in the NFC.
Interesting.
They might be my favorite out of the NFC at the moment.
Interesting.
You have anything to add there? You got the Buccaneers on a bye, who are currently defense 9, so you're going to need to plug and play there. Nobody owns the Dolphins defense because they do too many points. Seahawks defense at 7. I mean, you got to find a little replacement for them. I think if you need to stream one for this week, I would probably go. Let's see. Honest to God, the Bengals defense is way down there, and I love them. I think the Bengals are going to mutilate Pittsburgh this week. So
Okay.
if you have to pick somebody up and start them, I like the Bengals.
Now, just
team.
remember, this is a divisional game. I think it'll be a lot tighter than what people think.
I don't. I think
The
they're gonna
divisional games wind up being slobber knockers. Speaking of a slobber knocker, you're going to have to slobber knock Bruce's bare ass here.
And why is that?
Because
Play the clip.
on
Play the
last
clip,
week's-
Bruce.
I don't have it. It was a story.
What?
I don't have it. I don't have the clip.
The fuck you mean you
don't have
don't
what
have
clip?
it?
The clip of you saying that if the Detroit Lions beat the Bears, that you would kiss my bare ass.
I didn't say that.
You
You did.
Where's the proof?
You did say it.
Where's the proof?
I remember you saying it.
I have it. It's
And he
I just have to go
I'm
walk.
going to make sure I don't shower. I remember.
Listen to me.
I
I
remember
remember
this.
you saying that you had some odd homosexual tendencies, but at the end of the
I don't know
day,
what
if
you're
I don't
talking
have any proof, then
I'll
whatever
tell you
I
what.
say
I'll
just
tell you
becomes
what.
true.
You don't have to kiss my bare ass if I don't have to wear Aaron Rodgers' jersey in Green Bay.
Well, no, because I have receipts. And
I have receipts too.
where are they?
They're with our fans and they're with the prior episodes that have been released.
Well, until you can provide me with that clip, I'm not kissing shit.
Oh, pucker up,
I'm
baby.
gonna go find it
Fucker.
right
You better
now.
find that clip, asshole.
Anyways, if you're willing to put that big old nasty white pasty thing on camera, by all means, have at it.
You're the one who has to put your lips on it.
Anyways, does that wrap it up? You guys got anything else to talk about here, fantasy-wise, before we end today's show?
No, nothing over here.
God bless Allen Robinson.
That's our God bless of the week. Andy Dalton is starting on Sunday for the Saints. Just got notified. And that looks like that.
Throw the
is
ball
it.
to Chris Olave, dumbass.
Hey, another thing. KJ Hamler out for the next few weeks in Denver, so that the Sutton train is going to ride hard there. Thank you.
Dulcich chain.
Dolchich. Greg Dolchich, baby.
The Dulcich train will be in full bloom.
Thank you guys so much for listening to another episode of the Tip Balls Podcast. If you haven't, follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Tip Balls, TikTok at Tip Balls Podcast. Bruce decided to start using TikTok
Bruce is
again.
doing
so
some kind of
will-
little gay, weird dance here. It looks like he's got two peckers in his hand going like this.
If you're listening to us at Spotify or Apple Music, look us up on YouTube and remember to subscribe so you can see our ugly mugs every week. If not, you know where to listen. Thank you so much. Have a great week. We'll see you Friday.
We're out.